Искры зажигают, мы в зоне эхо танцует. Ты один, шепоты тихие, тайны срываются. На этой поездке нет ясного конца. Я не хочу все это останавливать, но ты не хочешь оставаться. Ты жаждешь столько волнений, что я приношу. Ты можешь кружиться со сотней чужих, гнаться за звездами, но не избежать опасности. Ты можешь сказать, что это просто твоя игра. Сочиняй другую сказку, другое мимолетное имя. Удача звезда, чему удача звезда? Чи тебе нужен космический сдвиг, чтобы изменить настроение? Удача звезда, чему удача звезда? Чи тебе нужен космический сдвиг, чтобы изменить настроение? Есть стереотип.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us again. So finally the main star of the show makes an appearance. Show's only been called Around the Fire for how many years now, and I don't think I ever actually featured a fire, but hey, fire, 'tis the season, so yay. But yeah, so today we were out with the KALASHNIKOV KP9. You may have seen this in some older footage we did, but I just thought I'd do a refresher with, you know, everything going on. And obviously this channel's primary focus is AK, so just talking about, you know, what we did to it, how it runs, how it's holding up. Obviously this gun's many years old now. I got this back in the day. This one has a serial number 8100 and something. Okay, so gives you an idea. It's an older one. It was right in the area of all the problems had been worked out. No more cracking dust covers. The firing pin issues that they had came later with like COVID related stuff. So if you're one of those people that likes to point out everything that's wrong with a gun, there you go, you're covered. This was actually kind of in their prime after they had worked out that they had copied it so well that they also copied the original gun's issues. So yeah, sad that KALASHNIKOV's gone. This one here you can obviously see will go tip to butt. Factory muzzle brake. They came with a really nice factory muzzle brake. They are 1/2 by 28 threaded, so American threads instead of European or Russian standard, which I thought was cool. Worked out good for a lot of stuff, except obviously the Zenitco things, which I'll get into here. So the Zenitco obviously was a very popular item, still is a very popular item. It's that Russian alpha style stuff, Russian military style stuff. People really want it. Like if you want that Russian operator look, that's the stuff that you seek out. Moving back, this here is, I believe it's called like the Kolsch light. I'll have to look it up, I can't remember. This one is the red and white light together. I couldn't afford the green at the time. I wish I had bought the green. Now that stuff is so inaccessible, because the green lasers are really, even the red lasers are really overpowered for civilian lasers. Their stuff isn't technically like civilian legal, but the greens are much better. This here is their system. It has control buttons, on off each, on off pressure switch, their connector, little pigtail, a mount style that sets it forward. The only problem with this mount style, I will say, is although it tucks in really neat on like the KP9, on the other AKs, it would sit further enough away from the barrel or in a different position, maybe further back slightly from it, to where you could still run a suppressor. It does cause an issue on this one where you can't run a can. And I mean, the KP9 doesn't really suppress super well without, what do you call it, like a flow-through can, which is something I've experimented with. I've never actually had a chance to try a flow-through can yet, but there is a lot of gas with this because it's a standard blowback 9. But then, yeah, the pressure switch on this thing has a up and down control for the sensitivity, or I'm sorry, not sensitivity, but brightness of the laser independently and the light independently. It has a lockout switch that you throw back and forth, and then a on off. And together you can see right now the laser and light are both on. And then of course, like I said, you can turn it on and then dial it down. So right now it'll be set to the laser's brightness. So it's turning the laser up or down. So kind of neat, you can fine tune it. And then obviously it has like push button functions like double push for strobe and things like that. A pretty effective little weapon system from Zenitco. The Zenitco handguard, I can't remember which models these are now. It's been such a long time since I ordered them, but the bottom piece and top piece are sold separately, and they're kind of unobtainium now. Zenitco charging handle, best one in the game, I will say. All these other ones just kind of float over there, and a screw kind of holds it on. and it's like good luck. This thing is 2 separate pieces of metal that are scalpeled out for the shape of the charging handle that you put independently around it, and you may even have to kind of like bend and smush your charging handle to get it to fit. And then you smash this cap over those 2 pieces and then put in a set screw. So it's really like pretty permanently bonded on there. I mean, you could of course get it off if you needed to, but it is a really solid system. And then I've got the EOTech. This one was customers that we did a trade on. Not sure the model, but I will say, become a much bigger fan of EOTechs as of late. So I was always kind of a proponent, especially when we started this channel, of cheaper things that could do the same stuff. Well, it's like it only works to a certain degree, right? When I started this channel, I was a young man. I didn't have a lot of money, as many of us don't. You get what you can, you get what works for you, and that was sort of what we were all about, and it still is to some degree. We will always offer you alternatives, good alternatives. Like, I love Primary Arms. We're not sponsored by Primary Arms, but I think Primary Arms is a fantastic manufacturer of high quality optics. They don't lie about who they are. They say, hey, we're designed in Texas, made in China. It's almost funny to, and it's good stuff, and the glass is good and the stuff's good. Now, as good as its $1,000 counterpart for their, like, their equivalent would be like $400, $500, and their counterpart would be $1,000. No, it's not as good. The glass isn't as clear. Maybe the magnification's not as great, but they're very comparable. So I will say, like I said, coming back to EOTech, EOTech is made here in Michigan. I would have loved to have always supported them, but they are an exuberantly expensive optic. Not to the point of being ridiculous, not $2,000 or something like that. Not until you get into like night vision stuff with them and stuff like that. But they are a military quality optic. They are fantastic. They do work. They do hold zero. The battery life is insane, and they just work. They're rugged. They're solid. You can beat them up. These are still fairly pretty. It's got some marks on it from ejection over the years on different firearms, but it's still in fairly good shape. You can see ones that obviously have taken much greater beating and still work. They have a interesting reticle style, with the independent little dots together collectively making the holograph or hologram, I guess you would call it. And it's interesting if you ever look into how that's made, where they take lasers and burn that into glass. It's kind of a fascinating little bit of science there, but very neat. And obviously they are the creators, innovators, and sort of definers of that technology. So if you are a person with like astigmatism or something like that, it is worth coughing up the couple extra bucks. I have 2 of these now, and I will say I would like to get more in the future. It'll obviously be a slow process, but they are very, very good. So yeah, moving back, obviously this is an SBR. This was made back when we were at our Hazel Park location. We're now in Metamora, so this has been made for many, many years now. But yeah, it's still got the Hazel Park logo and the cool our little triangle logo, so that's pretty cool. Hogue grip. I really like the Hogue grips. I've always liked the Hogue grips. They're big, they're chunky. I am starting to favor something slimmer. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll start my own plastics company and start making some cool grips or something, little pieces. But the Hogues are really great, the Fabs are really great. I do like the angle of the Hogue being a bit more vertical, whereas the Fab kind of cuts in a little and kind of gives you this undercut pushed up into it. Both really good grips, both have their pros and cons. This is the, I don't know what this is, like, it looks like NT1, but it's not N, it's some Russian, whatchamacallit. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Sorry to disappoint. I'll let everybody down there. But, yeah, so this stock is another one of these stocks that's like unobtainium now. It's pretty cool. I never did all the like filing that was needed for it. Like right here when it comes to this position, it like has a little locking mechanism right here that if I was to file this little block piece just slightly off the edge there, that would pop up much higher for higher engagement, and then this would be my button to press that back down to close. I just never bothered with it because I don't fold it. I mean, it's neat that it can fold, but it would hold itself in that position, obviously solid, and you can hear it like it clicks, it like wants to, and it does enough for me. Like, it's just, it ain't broke. I don't need to fix it. I'm just gonna leave it. I have seen people say some of this stuff in here is prone to cracking. I've been lucky with that so far. you know, this gun doesn't get like super used and abused anymore. I shot the cahoots out of it when, you know, we first made it. I will say, after getting out there with it today and having some fun, I definitely remember why I had so much fun with it, and definitely will be coming back to it, and I think playing with it some more. I will say the original reason I think I kind of put it away for some other stuff that I started diving into was because the VITIAS, or KP9, the gas system is just a standard blowback system. You're not doing anything with your gas block up here, so this gas block isn't feeding gas into the system through the front. The gas is all originating back here. So when you're running a can on this gun, which I eventually had gotten into, when you're running a can, you run into the issue here where it's like, okay, all my gas is right here. Where are all my escape points for gas? Right here, you know, there's gonna be a bunch of it, and then right here. I'm sure there's products out there. I haven't seen too many of them. I haven't really dug into it, so to be fair, you know. But this port here will shoot you pretty much right in the eyes, and it gets pretty frustrating. It can be pretty unpleasant. So I was running this suppressed, and that was kind of like the last iteration of me playing with it a few years ago. And I just hadn't really come back to it since, because I'd taken it all back apart to put the light back on it, because to me this was like kind of like the way I had it looking and the way I liked it. So this is how it went up on the wall. I will say, you know, I would like to, like I say, try a flow-through can, because a flow-through can is going to release more of your pressure out the front, so you'd have less gas blowback in your face back here and make it a more pleasant shooting experience. A couple of years ago, I'm sure those things were just now coming around, but they weren't as relevant as they seem to be now, so I'll have to fucks with one of those. But yeah, the KP9, man. Kind of a dead guy now out there. We just sold the last one we had in store a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago. But you know, we had sold it for $900, man. We don't price gouge. You'll see these things going for like $1,400 on Gunbroker now. We had it at its original like factory retail price that we were selling them all for. It's just we had one that like had hung on that long, and believe it or not, it was like a sister one to this, where it was like in that 8,000 serial number range. So just by the weird random grace of God, it ended up just floating around there on the shelf, getting passed over by everybody for all that time. But yeah, some guy came and picked it up, and he's happy with it, so he's out there having fun with it, you know, trying to do something cool, I'm sure. But that just got me thinking, you know, with the recent death of KALASHNIKOV USA, that I would get out here and do a video on it. If you can get one of these for a reasonable price, definitely pick it up. They're a ton of fun to shoot. The magazines may be like a little harder to find nowadays, but I will tell you a little trick. If you can find the 10-round magazines that nobody ever wanted, there's just a coat hanger thing inside of it that you remove. You basically drill off the rivet on the bottom. The bottom plate will still like hold itself in place, so you're not going to have any issues with that there. It'll all function like it's supposed to, but you just take the bottom plate off and pull out the giant coat hanger thing that's like the stop inside of it, and then you have a 30-round magazine. Same spring, same everything, same power. There's nothing different about the magazine except for the rivet on the bottom and the stopper that they had put in there. So a little food for thought on that one if you're having a hard time finding magazines for these now. Alright guys, good luck to you. Have fun out there. As always, be safe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.